the next session is about building eco structures. And we have an eminent list of speakers here. We have Mr. Anirban Banerjee, who is of head PBX SSD Panasonic India. We have Mr. K. Raghavan, who is Director of Product Management, Johnson Controls Industries Private Limited. We have Mr. Abdul Kader Bengali, who is Business Head of Large Waterproofing Group of Pidilite Industries Limited. And last but not the least, we have Mr. Ranjit More, who is the Vice Chairman of Universal Construction Machineries and Equipments Limited. So may I invite all these speakers on the dais to kindly have their seats. So, Ranjit ji, Anirban ji, Raghavan ji, Abdul Kader ji, kindly come on the stage. Ranjit, please have a seat on the center. And I have to start with Mr. Ranjit, who will give an intro about the session and chair and moderate the whole session. Ranjit.
Good morning, friends, once again. Thank you for making me the chairman by surprise over here for this important session of eco-structures. I don't know how much justice I will be able to make on this particular subject, but just from my experience of the construction industry, we are there into housing. Universal Group is there into housing. Universal Group is into manufacturing, also into IT. So whatever experience we go into the housing sector, we see that eco structures, I will put it into both two ways. One is ecological friendly structures, one, and second, economic structures. Both the words are very important in today's construction industry. If we really look at the Indian construction industry, the story is not a very old story, though we have got a very big past history of construction technology as knowledge, where India had given the best cities in the world in the old civilization of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, where we have seen modern towns constructed in India then. We have seen some of the tallest structure, I will put it as high-rise building structures in India, probably 1,000 years ago, in the form of temples. If you go and see the big temple in Tanjore, as well as the structures, Konark temple in Odisha, those are representing the high-rise building structure. So India has been very, very prominent player in the global market for construction. Now we have got a very big size of population which we have to serve, and we have to serve this population to really their needs, to suffice their need. If we see the pyramid, we have got the masses down. Almost 30 million houses are required at the bottom of the pyramid. A huge requirement is there, but there we need to create something which is economical, ecological friendly. Now when we say economical and ecology friendly, it doesn't mean low cost. It should be affordable. It should be livable. A structure which is created with intention to cutting down the cost is not a long-lasting structure. The structure should be a long-lasting structure which is a primary need. The structure should have a proper ventilation, structure should have sufficient light in it, and the structure should be sustainable. So if we see a structure, definitely we see that there is a lot to be done for this particular sector of economically weaker section where we have to deliver the major construction. Today I would like to welcome the panelists who are eminent, knowledgeable people in the industry. Dr. Ravi Gupta, editor-in-chief of IC Connect magazine, and he's also the convener of Green Cities. So Ravi is there. Then Mr. Abdul Qadir Bengali, business head of large waterproofing group Pedalite Industry, which is a leading industry in today, giving various solutions of waterproofing. K. Raghavan, director, product management of Johnson Control. Anirban Banerjee, head PBX. So to conduct this session, I will say that let me first, I've already taken the name, but each panelist give a brief introduction of their subject and maybe some throw their own personal views on this subject, maybe in 2 minutes each, and then we will have more of. Okay. So PBT, they have PowerPoint presentation, each one of them, because we have constraint of time, 10:45 to 11:30, and I think we are already at 11:45. So we have to wind up the section in maybe 45 minutes. Thank you very much. I would like to call upon Abdul Qadir Bengali, business head of Pedalite Industries.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, you will have to give me some time because there was some problem on the system, so I'll have to change my system. So give me some time till the time I'll start briefing a little bit about what I'm going to talk about so that we kind of get some time. We are all here to talk about sustainability. We are all here to talk about green buildings. Thank you. We are all here to talk about a lot of things, but like what the chairman said about few words, do we really do that? Do we really think of what we are doing? Do we really believe what we are doing? Do we measure what we are doing? So if we start looking at that, I'm going to talk about something in the slide, but I thought let me start talking about, we all here have health insurance, right? Something goes bad with ourselves or our family members, we go back to someone. What is happening for buildings? I'm putting a question to everyone. If something goes wrong with a building inside, what happens? Who is responsible? And how do we make sure that the occupants inside are not bearing the brunt of something which can go bad? And that's what I'm going to talk about in my presentation. So once again, a very good morning to all of you. We're just 5 minutes before good afternoon, so good morning everyone for the last time, and then we'll come to good afternoon. I'm going to talk about something which is to do with buildings, something which is to do with systems, and something which is to do with energy efficiency. We all heard about numbers. The green building movement happened in India for the past 11 years. 2002 or 3 is when the green building movement started by IGBC. We all know these numbers, nothing new about that. We all know that what we can save today is what we can generate. This is all known to us, but are we really doing this? What are we doing towards going ahead and looking at our dark future? As I said about the health insurance part, sustainability of a building construction is not just about making buildings energy efficient, but making buildings leak-proof. I was at Hyderabad 2 days ago and met a large developer, and he was saying, my bathrooms leak and I have rising dampness coming inside. What happens if I have mold which is formed on a building wall inside? Is it good for us to breathe such air? Do we call that sustainable? The question is, can we talk about a building which is sustainable, which is not just from a point of view of energy efficiency, but a long-lasting design? Mr. More talked about long-lasting design. We need to have buildings which are built for years, and they stay as they are supposed to be on day one. So who we are someone whom everyone knows because we have something called as Fevicol, which is there in every individual's house sitting in this room. But then in the business of construction chemical, we are now truly an Indian MNC. We offer products across 80 countries, but I'm not talking about that. What I'm more interested to talk about is technologies which are prevalent out of the country, which we are trying to bring in through various R&D and research. But most important, to suit to Indian condition. Is it possible for us to bring in glazing from the West, but just copy and paste over here? It will not work. So we need to build in technologies which are suited for Indian condition. Thus Do we have discipline in construction the way it is there in the east or the west? No, we are evolving, and as we evolve, we will have to bring in technologies which are more suited for our condition, and that's what we are going to be talking about today. There are different solutions which we can talk about, but because of the time period, we are only talking about roof as a subject today. And when we come to roof, for example, we actually, before stepping into this business, did a lot of dipstick study with developers, architects, contractors to really understand what the problems are, what the concerns are. And we found the first and foremost problem which is there with everyone. You name it and they have problem of water leakages. I'm sure to all the developer friends and the architects, consultants, this is nothing new. We all see brickbat Koba, we all see China mosaic, we all see leakages, and we see day in and day out. And we say, we believe that yes, there will be a day where all of this will be eliminated. And I'm sure it will be eliminated. But then the conventional system, like what we heard in the inaugural session, MADA talking about moving out from conventional to evolving technologies. That's the call of the day. That is what is happening every day. And we need to be appraised of the fact that certain conventional techniques are good, very good. Like, for example, brickbat Koba. It's only in India where you will find brickbat Koba. Nowhere else in the world you will find brickbat Koba. I used to jokingly say BBC is very common in India. So we were talking about BBC as a news channel. I said, no, BBC as a brickbat Koba, which is very common in India. It was good, but today, considering the fact that time is an essence, quality is not available, things are not there, and that's what leads to leakage. I was talking to Mr. Mantri outside, and he was talking to the gentleman from Panasonic saying, a lot of heat comes inside. Yes, a lot of heat comes inside. I'm sure that you would have read newspapers. Every year, there is an article which comes in a newspaper which states that this city has recorded maximum temperature. It is breaking records of number of years. This city has gone negative, lower temperature, and it has recorded number of years. Why? Because this is what is global warming, and we all know about this subject very well. For example, on 8th of June, I'm sure a lot of people would know, on 8th of June, Delhi recorded the maximum temperature in the past 62 years, 47.8 degrees centigrade. Now, this may happen tomorrow to Pune. Pune was supposed to be a place where everyone thought of coming in and living once they are retiring, like what the chairman of the event said. But is that the fact? Do we see the temperatures evolving? And it is happening. Building envelope becomes a very important element towards minimizing the heat gain. For example, if this is a hotel, we have so many people inside. Would the hotel expect not to have people coming in? Because only if we come in, we would need the AC. Only if we come in, we would need the lights. But then that's where the business models are. As an architect, as a designer, as a builder, building envelope is something which is in your control. Otherwise, the rest of the things are not in your control, because that's where the occupancy comes in. Something which is possible, very much workable. To a lot of developers out here, a major concern which always comes up to us is, you have great products, but you don't apply. The industry of construction chemical is such that the products are wonderful, but the application is where the efficacy of the product gets lost. And that's where a major concern comes in, a day in, day out. Well, I'm sure everyone wants to complete the work yesterday. We don't have a time of completing it tomorrow, so time becomes an essence. And to me, what is most important at the end of the day is accountability. God forbid something goes wrong. Whom are you as developer, owner, customer, or consultant going to hold accountable? Is it the applicator? Is it the manufacturer? One will say the other, and I'm sure that you would have faced this problem day in and day out. So this is where the problems came in, and we thought, is there a solution to it? And that's where our endeavor began as a system solution provider to come out with systems which are far more differentiator and which can change the landscape of the market. And that's how we introduced a system called as low energy consumption system. We all talk about abbreviations now, so it's LEC system is what we talk about. What is this system? It's a system where we offer guarantee. This is what the normal market is. The market offers a 10 years guarantee, and the market offers a waterproofing guarantee by an applicator. So what are we going to do different things? We said, let's change the market. Let's move it from 10 years to a 25 years period. Let's talk about one thing. From an applicator, let's say we as Pidilite, we will come and do the entire system for you, and we will give you guarantee. And this is a major benefit, because at the end of the day, who is going to give the material is responsible for the system, not for 10, but for 25 years, which is what a normal building construction lifeline is. We also said, let's make it not just waterproofing, but let's make it energy efficient. And we said, okay, we'll reduce 90% of heat gain. We said, okay, we talk about energy consumption. Let's make a system which will save 50% of energy consumption. And at the end of the day, we all heard about IGBC. Let's make a system which is compliant to that. And that's what is called as LEC system. But before I take and show you what this is, we really wanted to actually think, is it workable? I spoke about bringing global technologies to India. Is it workable? Will it work for Indian condition? So before we came out in the market, we actually built 3 test houses, which you can see over here. So all 3 test houses are very identical from the exterior side. Doesn't look different. But when someone comes up and looks at this 3 energy meter, you will find that the power consumed by this unit is 50% higher than the third one. Each of the test house has an AC fitted inside. Now what is that we have done differently? From the outside it's same, and that's how the green buildings are. If you look at a green building, they are no different from the outside between a conventional building and a green building. But when you step inside, and that's where you find the benefit, and that's what we have done. We have put in thermostats over here, you see all the lines here. We have put thermostats inside, and we are actually monitoring it. And we came across a number of good findings. Let me share 2 of them, and I'll focus one of them a little bit more on the other. We did this on a test on 1st of April 2013, where the maximum ambient went to 36 degrees centigrade. As the day progresses, the temperature reduces, which is we all are aware of it. But what happened? As the day progresses, we did the first test, which is to understand thermal stresses. And we found that if this is my slab, we measured the bottom temperature of the slab through an infrared gun throughout the day and plotted the curve. This is what happens in 1 day's time when the maximum ambient on that day is 36 degrees centigrade. There may be people coming out from other part of the country where the temperature can go as high as 45, 40, 38. The temperature will further go up. What is important to understand, the slab, which is the most important element of a building, has 46 to 35 and 11 degrees centigrade temperature differential. In 1 day, the same will happen the next day. My question to everyone, do we design waterproofing, which is over the slab, looking into account the thermal stresses? We design waterproofing just by looking at certain parameters which are good to be seen, but then are we looking at the most important part? Will my waterproofing be able to take care of the stresses? And if not, that's where the failure comes in. And what we found interestingly, which is seen in this green line, that it's almost constant. So be my temperature be it 36 or 45 or 50, this line is constant. So there is no rocket science of saying why we are talking about a 25 years guarantee, but we are saying this because we know that nothing can go wrong. The system is designed to take care of the thermal stresses. For people who are talking about residential buildings, I stay on my topmost floor of my building, and I always never get the luxury of coming back early at home. So when I'm back at home at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I always find my inside temperature is far higher than my outside temperature. Now this is the fact not just for the top occupants, but also for every floors. And that is what is seen over here. As the day temperature progresses down, my inside temperature, this particular study is done for interior temperature, not the surface temperature. And we found my inside temperature is far higher than my outside. And we always feel discomfort, and we say, let's switch on AC. The question is, can we design buildings where we do not need AC? Sorry for the guys of Panasonic, I'm just trying to talk about not to use AC, but I'm saying let's use AC on an optimum basis. We should not have buildings which are designed for higher capacity and optimum capacity. So look at what the green line gives you. Now with this, instead of a 2-ton AC of Panasonic, we can go for 1 ton of AC. Isn't that economical? Isn't that good enough for a power efficiency part of it? So we talk about buildings, not just a commercial building, but any kind of building can become energy efficient by ensuring that the systems are well designed at the beginning. So what this system is all about, the LEC system comprises of multi-layers, multi-systems, which is green, which is longevity. It helps them do a lot of things. But let me show you a small video to show you how the system is installed. If you see, this is the most important area, the area which is your drain. It's the most important area, which is your parapet wall. Don't treat it properly, it's gone. That's where it leads to leakage. How many times do we think of closing the drain properly? When we do any waterproofing, do we take a call that my drain pipe, which is either vertical or horizontal, is treated well from the joints? At times we miss, and those are the leakage areas which can create problems. I just want to break over here for an important point. When you look up, every roof has a screed, and a screed will always crack. So what are we doing to make sure that there are control expansion given? The entire screed is laid in a grid of 12 to 16 square meter, which will make sure that my expansion is minimized, and it is more control, which leads to minimum cracks. So that's how you finish the entire system called as LEC system. Let me show a case study of does it really work. We talked about cost, we talked about economics of operations. It's a project in Ahmedabad. It's a luxury hotel coming up over there. The aim was to make a sustainable buildings. The aim was to have a buildings which will last and energy efficient, but they had complex thing. I'm sure if you go to the terrace of this hotel, you will find lots and lots of pedestals coming in because services are kept on the terrace. Very difficult to do the work. And that's where the challenge and complexity came in of this particular property. With a lot of debate for a number of months, finally they selected chose us as a preferred choice out of number of bidders because of certain reasons. And the reasons is what I would want to demonstrate to you. We could convince them that they save 82% of their heat. It led to 29 tons of savings. It helped them to ensure that since this was an expensive system, let me rephrase, since this was a little higher system, there were economics coming in as against the conventional system and as against the LEC system. But then they found the payback period is immediate. So actually, it is not an expensive system. It is a system which is optimum in terms of your operation. Don't look at the initial cost, but look at the complete life cycle cost analysis. And they found they will be saving close to around 2.2 crores of money. Now to any individual, this saving, as I said the first slide, power saved is power generated, money saved is money generated. You save money, you generate money. And that's what came in with the 25 years of guarantee. I want to give a focus on to this particular pictures which I have put in. This is the cooling tower area. This is the cooling tower area. Look at the way the gentleman is sitting down and doing waterproofing. Look at the ventilation fan coming in. I'm sure this is no surprise to anyone who is sitting in this room. How difficult is it for any waterproofing system to be done over here? Look at the fans coming in. It's not a simple design. And that's where the detailing comes in. I always keep on saying waterproofing should be idiot-proof. If you make it idiot-proof, nothing can go wrong. So I want to end my presentation by saying we are all transforming. So let's transform the buildings. Do we all want this? I'm sure no one wants this. We all want to be in a happy place. And it's not for me, it's for my daughter and maybe for her children's. So we were all hearing citizen words, so I thought, let me add this. It's not just citizen, but let's be green citizens, right? Thank you.
Very good presentation. I would request that we will take the question answers after all the presentations are done. So now I request Mr. Raghavan, Director Product Management, Johnson Controls Private Limited. If you can restrict to 10 minutes, that will be fantastic.
I will need help to switch back. Good afternoon to all of you. I am from Johnson Controls from the Building Efficiency Division. We are in the HVAC space, making different kind of HVAC systems. And also we do a lot of IBMS projects, Intelligent Building Management System. So let me take 10 minutes to brief you what is happening, what is the current technology and trends from the HVAC space. Because as we all know, more than 50% of a building's energy demand is because of the HVAC systems which are running there. So if you can make the HVAC system more efficient, definitely we can turn the whole building green. Right from the beginning of a building's life cycle, from the time it is being constructed till it is handed over, being maintained by the facility management team there, at different parts of its life cycle, the building management team, they have their own challenge. Starting from the economic management, how to reduce cost when the building is 10 years old, 15 years old, whichever tenant is occupying it or is owning it, their prime consideration will be how to bring the energy cost down, continuously pressing energy and environmental regulations from the government. In the morning we were listening to different views being expressed, how the government is taking serious note of turning India green, turning the construction industry green. So there are going to be a lot of regulations from the government side, how to be able to cope up with the continuously changing regulations. Strategic goals, optimizing, and also how to maintain the whole building and turning the whole business operation which is taking place inside into a profitable one for everyone to benefit. Now, we all know the HVAC has a significant contribution on the energy demand of a building. So right at the time of planning a HVAC system for a building, we start from the energy modeling approach. There are different softwares available, energy modeling tools. Some are freely downloadable, some are proprietary softwares which have to be purchased. And this is, the whole industry is very familiar with many of these tools. By using these tools, the designers are able to assess what kind of orientation of the building, should it be rotated wherever it is being planned, if they turn the building around on its axis by 8 degree or 13 degree, is it going to minimize the solar radiation? What kind of a building envelope is being planned, the kind of thermal insulation that may have to be applied on the walls, roofs, the kind of special glazing, special glasses that they may have to use to reduce the solar heat gain. So all these things are assessed by the designer, and when a properly designed building is finally put on the drawing table, very easily we are able to see the total air conditioning load being reduced as much as 40 to 50%, which significantly contributes to save energy and turn the building green. Previously, we used to look at figures of whenever we are asking for air conditioning this room, what will be the capacity of air conditioner required? We used to go by a thumb rule, maybe 1 ton capacity for 100 to 150 square feet. But because of all these building envelopes approaches being used, the analytical tools being deployed properly, now we are looking at the figure of at least 1 ton being able to serve 400 square feet plus. And continuously the consultants and owners of the building are trying to further enhance this number upwards. So this is a very good progress we have made. Talking about energy saving concept in a building, one more key thing is the indoor design temperature itself. Normally there is a preconceived notion in all our mind, right from our relatives at home, Air conditioning is air chilling. Whenever we walk into the room, we want a cold air blast to blow on our face. So each degree centigrade, if we can increase the indoor design temperature, instead of setting it at 22 or 20, if we can take it up. Currently, IGBC is coming out with a revised rating for the IGBC new construction rating standard. There, instead of 24, the indoor design temperature is being revised to 26 degrees centigrade. Each degree centigrade, we are increasing the indoor room temperature setting on the thermostat. It leads to significant energy saving. So this is one more change we are actually seeing being practiced in many of the commercial establishments. And since morning I am observing how good is the indoor comfort in this particular conference hall compared to many other conference hall in different other hotels where we feel very chilled. Just in 5-10 minutes we sit, we start shivering. Then we tell them reduce the cooling. He cannot reduce, he simply switches off and switches on in a cyclic fashion. So compared to that, here the temperature which is being maintained is very comfortable. So definitely I am sure this hotel must be saving very good energy. Talking about the air conditioning technology trends, both in residential premise, wherever the estate developer is offering air conditioned residential buildings, or many commercial buildings, only two technologies are coming out predominantly winning. One is the VRF, variable refrigerant flow. A typical layout is shown here, which has already become popular in the last 7-8 years in India. Even in residential complexes, it is being offered by developers because it offers lot of flexibility. Number one, it is so elegant. The outdoor unit, which you see the 3 boxes sitting there, can be put on the rooftop or can be hidden away behind the building as per the interior designers or the architects' aesthetic design approach. This can be combined to so many indoor units. We can have indoor units serving this kind of a hall with a ducted indoor. We can have cassette indoor. We can have a wall mounted split. So the outdoor box can easily connect to 34 indoors, 54 indoors, depending on the system architecture, the way they select the equipment. So it improves the aesthetics. It saves energy compared to individual room air conditioners or a ducted or package air conditioner which simply chills the whole floor plate regardless of whether the cabin is occupied or not, whether the conference hall is being used or not. So this is one reason, because of the energy efficiency and good aesthetics, this has become very popular. From the estate developer's point of view, one more reason why VRF has become popular is whenever we are building many floors, we need not have to wait for the completion of entire building, put a chiller on the rooftop or anywhere, then start handing it over, because then the investment is locked for a long period. So here, as each floor is getting ready, the builder can simply put a VRF system to serve that particular floor plate, can immediately rent out or sell or lease out. So there is immediate return on the investment being made. So this is one more reason why the VRF systems are becoming popular. The only hitch here currently we are facing is there are many brands from China, from Japan, from Korea who follow different rating standards of their origin countries. So comparing and figuring out which system is offering what efficiency many times becomes quite challenging. So currently the Association of Air Conditioning Manufacturers in India, the name is RAMA, along with the ISHRE and BEE, they have just started discussing about India standard for VRF systems. So once that comes in force, maybe in a year or two, at least this confusion that we have, which brand's efficiency is at what level, that will be cleared very soon. The second popular HVAC equipment with which many of us are familiar is the chillers. The one key thing which has happened, which has revolutionized again the energy consumption pattern in the central air conditioning industry is the introduction of magnetic bearing centrifugal chillers. Many manufacturers have adopted this, not only just 1 or 2 brands. Many are offering, so there is a choice for customers to choose. Without any doubt, compared to a regular centrifugal chiller, the magnetic bearing centrifugal chiller, because there is no frictional loss for the bearings. So as you see in the figure shown on the right side bottom corner, on a overall annualized basis, easily 12% additional energy saving this particular chiller technology is able to offer compared to a standard centrifugal chiller. So this is something which has been already adopted by many manufacturers, which is helping the industry and the users. Normally, whenever we talk of equipment, we talk of generally the high side equipment, a VRF system or a chiller or a ducted AC or a package AC. Generally the discussion ends there. Using this opportunity, I also want to touch upon the energy savings that can accrue from lot of innovative design strategies that can be adopted. For example, this explains a simple schematic of an air handling unit which is sitting here. Okay. This is the air handling unit which is sitting here. Now this is continuously circulating the conditioned air into the space. So we see these two cabins as an example. So we have a thermostat. As and when the set room temperature is attained, the current concept which is becoming very popular is to go for a variable air volume system in the duct terminal itself, from where the cold air is being thrown. Rather than simply switching on and off, we have a variable air volume terminal. So it starts regulating the airflow. When it starts regulating the airflow, the pressure which the blower motor is encountering, that starts increasing because we have throttled the air damper. Once that happens, the variable frequency drive senses that the static pressure is increasing, so I need to step down to maintain correct static air pressure for the terminal to deliver appropriate air quantity. When the blower motor steps down, also now the room load is reducing. So the chilled water which is circulating in the air handling unit, there is a chilled water coil here inside which the chilled water is circulating. That temperature delta T we call, the inlet temperature to outlet temperature difference. So that is reducing because the load is reduced in the space, the temperature has been attained. What that results in is nowadays the PIC valve, pressure independent control valve, which is used in the chilled water line. It has just started in the last 1 or 2 years in India. Currently still 80% of the market, they do not use PIC chilled water valve. But this can further significantly result in energy saving. The PIC valve can modulate the exact amount of chilled water that has to be put inside the air handling unit chilled water coil. Again, this is sensed by the chilled water pump. There is a delta P, delta pressure differential sensor, which senses and it switches in the primary variable or secondary variable VFD drives. So like this, the whole low side system involving either the air handling unit and the way the air is distributed, or the chilled water piping, the way the control valves are throttling the chilled water flow and the pumps are being regulated by the VFD drives, all these things can be automated, and this also can result in significant energy saving. Though normally these things are not talked about whenever we are talking of a HVAC design. My last point to touch upon is the building management system. Now we saw there are so many design approaches that we can have in suitably sensing how much fresh air we are bringing in. We can use a CO2 sensor. So like now we are about 50-60 people here. So if the CO2 level is increasing, the CO2 sensor will sense, it will bring in more fresh air through that air handling unit we saw in the previous slide. If all of a sudden the occupancy is less in a conference hall, we can have an occupancy sensor which gives signal. So automatically the cold air that is being delivered, circulated in the room can be automatically adjusted. So like this, so many things can be automated where each and every control strategy that we adopt can result in significant energy saving and also improved comfort for the occupant inside. Now, in all these BMS systems, you see the bottommost line we see, the building management system can take care of anything, everything that a facility has got. It can take care of the lighting, it can take care of the fire and alarm systems, it can take care of the CCTV and access control, the chillers, anything, everything that the facility manager wants to control, wants to see from a particular computer. Suitably, the BMS team will be able to tailor make the requirement as per the customer need. There are supervisory controls which you see in the middle layer, and then there is a reporting enterprise connectivity. All these use BACnet protocol across the globe. Many manufacturers have standardized all these controllers having a BACnet protocol. So they are all, even if we use different makes of all these systems, still the BMS team won't have any difficulty in integrating all this and also coming out with the analysis report. The BMS actually optimizes the central plant, the chillers, the VFD drives, the cooling towers, pumps, how they are used. Now, how green is a green building? That is one thing which we have been discussing for quite few years in the IGBC circle. Usually the IGBC certification is awarded based on a design concept. It's not on actual performance and verification method that is deployed in the field, but that is something now is being implemented in the IGBC rating standard. So the actual saving we can see only if we monitor something, we verify something. How are we going to do that? That the building management system, the energy monitoring system can play a very big role, because they will be able to monitor all these things, take corrective, innovative control strategies so that we maintain the right condition for the occupants, also significantly saving energy. And it will be able to come out with a very nice energy reporting the way the facility manager wants to see. How this is going to help them? They will be able to identify how to cut down wastage, how to optimize, how to run the chillers always at full efficiency so that we derive maximum efficiency from all the equipments that is being used there. So there are many approaches that is possible, starting from cutting down the air conditioning load to easily 50% by using the right analytical tool, and also having the right control strategies in place so that without any manual intervention, everything can be automatic, and also the facility manager will be able to get a final report which is coming at the required frequency he requires, through which he will be able to take energy saving decisions which benefits the building as well as the whole society. So all of us can take note of this, and wherever possible in our work area we can try to take advantage of all these new technologies that are available from many players in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raghavan, for the wonderful presentation. I now request Anirban Banerjee, Head of PBX, Panasonic India.
Good morning to all present in the room. I'm sure there must be many preconceived notions about why is Panasonic participating in this particular event when we've had some action-packed presentations from Get It, our friend here, and we just heard about efficiency. So I'm sure, some of you must be thinking now that why is this guy come up and now he's going to bore us with why you should have ACs in your room and all. So today I want to just kind of tell you, before I start off with the presentation, that we are a consumer durable company as well, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about innovations. And which is why if you see PBX and IP solutions is something which has not been talked about in the residential segment so far. So to start off, I would like to quote Gandhiji. He had said, "Be the change you want to see." So if you talk about changes, and if you were to summarize what he basically meant by this quote of his, is that innovate, keep innovating on a daily basis. So like if you were to take a current example, which we all have right here, we have the elets media who've come out with this wonderful initiative of green cities. So this was one talking point, and when we kind of figured that why should we kind of associate with elets for this particular event, what we found as a common point was the innovation. So frankly, while I'll be taking a lateral from the green initiative, so to say, but I would kind of like to ensure that the innovation which is being talked about in the residential products goes to a newer height. So did we think about this overnight? No. There was a lot of research that we kind of did before we came to this conclusion as to how to go about innovating within residential complexes and getting on to the next level of luxury. So to start with, this is, I would like to summarize our learnings so far that we've had in this particular segment. So today, how are we looking at homes? If you're talking about transition. Earlier, there was the construction used to happen and the building used to be handed over to, whoever is ready to buy it. But today, people are different. They do not want, pre-approved architecture and stuff. So even if they were to be kind of, approached for a particular building or apartment, they would like to kind of, make their own customizations, what we call as flexi homes out here. So that's a paradigm shift. Though obviously you cannot kind of, alter the covered area and stuff, but I think you can give away a wall, make the lobby into a room altogether. So that's exactly what flexi homes does here. Secondly, keeping on with the concept of green homes, as per our knowledge, we have about 1 billion square feet of green built-up space is what we would like to believe, out of which a whopping 40% happens to be committed for residential projects. This figure is expected to double in the next 2 years, is what we understand. So a lot of potential in this particular segment, and that's the reason why we thought that we would kind of book our spot here as well. Now, this is about residential projects. We're talking about apartments out here. So today, if you've seen the scenario, people are buying houses on the outskirts, obviously because of the cost benefit. But what about the ecosystem that needs to develop out there? What about the infrastructure? What about the shopping malls that one needs to kind of go and frequent? So which is why we also now have a concept of modern spaces, wherein the construction guys are thinking of building up townships rather than just a particular building which will kind of house about 20 to 50 people. So this is the concept of townships is what we call as modern spaces here. If you see, there are quite many in Hinjawadi, Pune itself. So you have the Blue Ridge from Pranjape Builders, Keval Nitin Kumar Builders, and Life Republic, Kolte Patil. So this is something which is catching up on at a very good pace. And people want to invest in such kind of townships because out there the infrastructure gets taken care of, in the sense that they really don't need to kind of wait for the development to happen. So while the building is coming up, the infrastructure also is kind of is parallelly being worked upon. So that's on the modern spaces now. And finally, if you were to see the luxury part of it, people have much more disposable income than what they earlier used to have. So obviously there's an amenities galore, which builders want to offer today to any builder who has the money to kind of buy it. So if you were to talk about the normal amenities, which are like the clubs and gyms, these are the hygiene factors today. Every buyer would expect that to be there in the building. But how do the builders redefine the luxury for them? And that's exactly where Panasonic fits in. So this is our solution for communication servers for apartments and townships. And from here on, whatever I'll be talking about are already deployed solutions. So we are not kind of creating a blueprint or trying to explain a blueprint to you. These are deployed solutions. So one of the biggest cases that we have is DLF, which is the luxury apartments that you have in and around Delhi and in the Haryana space. So if you see, that's the machine that we have. That's on display outside as well. So I would urge each one of you to kind of take out time to have a demo as well, because in the presentation, obviously, it's a little difficult to give the detailed explanation of what we've done. But I've kind of put an effort to give a synopsis of what has been done out here. So basically, the type of houses that we're talking about, or the apartments that we're talking about, are which has got about 2 living rooms, 2 family lounges, bedrooms with attached bathrooms, about 3 to 5 of them, and about 2 servant rooms and 1 lobby. How have we done the architecture out here? So what we did is we gave 3 CO lines, 2 CO lines. So CO lines are the incoming lines for the telephones that come in. So there are incoming lines and there are outgoing lines, as everybody would know. These are 2 CO incoming lines which we've given for normal telephony, and we've given 1 CO for fax. There is also 2-port voicemail. I mean, like, for recording whatever, when you're unable to attend a particular call or stuff, there is voicemail for you as well. There's 2 extensions in the living room, 1 extension in each bedroom, and you have 1 extension in the bathroom. So this is the level that, residential apartments have kind of, gone up to, as far as keeping communication servers are. Because it's not only if a particular buyer has a disposable income, it's not that he would not like to kind of, go into the next level. It is also to do with how is the next level going to benefit him. So today, if you see in the scenario, everybody wants to kind of, communication is the key. So which is why, we have a particular deployment like this, which is kind of, help them go to the next level. So this is on the residential complexes. We've also covered townships. Kalpataru township, which is about 4 to 5 acres. Now if you see, in the residential complex, we were talking about a single PBX sofa, or a communication server, as we would call it in Panasonic. Out here, we have about 18 buildings that we've connected through architecture of PBXs. Okay, so it's a distributive architecture that you have. So if you see, building 7 and building 8 had a different requirement altogether. They required 500 extensions, while the rest were okay with 128 extensions. So this is the architecture that we have been able to build and create a particular township out of it. Other than the fact that normally if you were to put up a communication server, it requires a lot of copper cabling, which is very expensive, as most of the developers would know out here. So what we did is we connected the communication servers in a distributed architecture on fiber optic, and within the premises of the building we gave copper. So that the maintenance cost is also low, and we have a cost-effective solution as well. Coming to Srijan Township, which was about 50 acres, which is by far the biggest one which we've handled so far. We are talking about 50 extension into a whopping 100 buildings. So we're talking about 5,000 extensions out there. Okay, so this was something which was networked again on H.23. The common part about both these particular installments is, if you see that redundancy is something which everybody is talking about. Specifically in construction companies or in offices, redundancy is something which is prime because the business is 24/7 today. The scenario doesn't change when it comes to residential complexes as well. So which is why if you see the multiple number of CPUs that we've put, so let's say in a particular sector, certain CPUs goes kaput, then only that particular area would go down. The rest would keep functioning. One another benefit of having these multiple CPUs. Well, the buck doesn't stop here. We've also kind of raised the bar again with our video intercom systems, which is very much new in line nowadays. So obviously it has got a lobby camera, indoor and indoor units. But just to give you a kind of brief view of the architecture as to how it works. So you have the lobby camera in the external unit as an external unit on the sides. It can connect up to about 20 houses, which has the indoor units where the communication happens. So at the top we will have our, if you were to talk about the lobby camera, VL590BX, state-of-the-art looking equipment. It has a numeric keypad, 3-digit LED display, infrared LED, E-lock connection. So E-lock connection is basically the capacity of the indoor unit to kind of give away E-lock connections for at least 2 units, in the sense main door and the back door. So that is one of the key benefits. It's got a solid metal panel, so if you look about the aesthetics, you already have the picture out here. You can make out for yourself. It's a good looking product. In the indoor unit, we have 2 variants. One is the wireless, and the one is obviously the wired one. The wireless system is a class apart from the wired one because of the following. 5.2-inch TFT color monitor. So we are talking about a very clear and crystal display of the person who's kind of rang the bell at your doorstep. The second best part now, and this is a blower. You have a wireless monitor. with a distributor, you can have about 4 of these in the same home. So basically, what does this do? It ensures mobility. You need not always answer the door. You can be in your bedroom, look up onto your TFT monitor, which is the wireless monitor, which is about 1.8-inch screen, okay, and take a decision whether to open the door or not. So in a particular house, you can have 4 of these, okay. So any family member who is at any part of the house at any point of time can access and open the door. Second is one-shot clear picture recording. We have the facility of recording about 100 pictures as far as the wireless one goes. Night vision LED camera, very important. The image doesn't get blurred even if without light. So I mean, like, these are technologies which are not existing in the market so far. If you were to talk about, maybe post our deployments, this is something which might become hygiene. But Panasonic is the initiator. Panasonic is the front runner in these technologies. Voice changer function, a very important function, given the current threats that women have in today's life. With this particular function, the woman can respond in a manly voice. Whenever she suspects threat, if the person is not somebody she was expecting, or if the person is somebody who's trying to barge in. This is a particular function, this is a killer function which can kind of, ward off the person who's trying to enter by force, or probably is kind of, coming across as a threat to the woman in the house. And obviously, it is connectable to our communication servers. On the right, you have almost the same functions for the wired, a little less maybe, but 3.5-inch TFT color monitor you have there as well. The recording is up to about 30 pictures. Night vision LED camera exists here as well. A large talk button, very important for people who miss. Whenever there's a particular call which comes, there are certain people who rattle off with the buttons, don't know which one to press. So this is one particular fact that we've taken care of out here. And this one gets connected to the PBX as well. So these are basically the two major talking points that we had in today's forum, which was again a misnomer from the fact that we just do consumer durables. So that is the point that we're trying to make out here, is that we are much more beyond consumer durables. We are in this innovation space where we've kind of redefined luxury to the next level. And it's not that if you associate with us, we'll kind of keep the premises or keep the support only to the head office or so. We have a strong distribution network, which you could see out here, about 161 partners, who are professionals who are selling this particular solution on a regular basis. So we have a demo stall right outside, and whatever I talked about, we can give you a demo at your convenience. So please do visit the stall. Thanks so much for the patient hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. So I think that's the end of the session. We had 3 eminent speakers who delivered right from starting from the waterproofing, which is a very essential thing. Secondly, going into the air conditioning and efficiency in that, and then finally coming to the communication. So all the 3 subjects, I will say, very important in terms of modern homes were delivered. Presently, we are running out of the time, but I will say that we will take a few questions for the speakers over here. Do you have any questions? Okay, I hope there are no questions over here, and they have done a very good job. Thank you very much, all the speakers, and thank you for the patient hearing.